Hang up the do not disturb sign, gals. It's snippet time. Hello, gals, and welcome to Sober Living Snippets, where we live alcohol free so we can heal those relationships, feel youthful again, and ditch regret and shame. And honestly, a whole lot more stuff happens when we ditch the alcohol. I'm Becca Jacobson, and I have a juicy snippet for you. Yes, I do. Today, we're going to continue our look at the key components that you need to have in your arsenal when you are planning out your sober living journey. And yes, you need to plan your journey. You may have noticed in your journey so far that when you just wake up in the morning with a headache and say, "That's it, I'm done, never again," somehow that backfires. That was not well planned. Trust me, I know, because I tried that method and it doesn't work. We know that doesn't work. Oh, sure, we might feel so crappy it works for a few days, but it won't last. Not if you have a problem with alcohol. And if you don't have a problem with alcohol, you're not here. So how does that work? Right? Okay, so seriously though, if you've been struggling for a while and you just keep breaking promises to yourself, you do need a plan. We need a plan. We need to figure this out. What's going to work for me? How am I finally going to follow through on the promises that I want to make to myself, on the changes that I want to make in my life in this, the most significant era of my life? I.e., 40 plus, 50 plus, 60 plus, 70 plus, 80 plus, 90 plus. This is an important stage of life. It's a key stage of life. In fact, it's the best stage of life. Why? Because, gals, it's the only stage we have left. We can't go back and redo the other ones. So this is the one that matters, the one that we make count. Okay, now getting sidetracked, but seriously, right? So we want a plan. We want to plan. We want to make a decision that, okay, enough's enough. I'm going to do this once and for all. And so how do we set about figuring out what's going to work best for us? Well, I can tell you right now, the best thing you could do is join up with me and your problems will be solved. But since I don't expect you to just believe that, I mean, why should you? I don't expect you to believe that. So for the last couple of weeks, I've been giving you key components that I believe any good sobriety program needs to have. And where do I get this information? Well, first of all, my own journey. Over 30 years of struggling with alcohol, I tried it all, gals. I tried it all. You learn a lot when you fail. I mean, you got to say that much for failure. You learn what doesn't work, right? But then, starting my own sobriety 7 years ago, and I did finally get sober, but it wasn't easy because there were things missing from my journey. So I basically went through a lot of pain and a lot of struggle so you don't have to. The first couple of years of my sobriety were so hard, and they really didn't have to be. So I've spent the last 5 helping other women, finding out what works, constantly tweaking what I offer them, helping them, learning from them, learning from them and their journey. And now I know what works. And I know that a year from now, 6 months from now, I'll have even more knowledge on how to help you even better. But I can tell you right now that as of today, what we got over here is working. Okay, so what I've been sharing with you is my HEAL method, the HEAL acronym. You may have heard me talk about it. The H stands for holistic, alcohol-free mindset. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. The E stands for emotional healing and energy work, and we talked about that last week. The A stands for authentic accountability, which we also talked about last week. Today, we're going to tackle the L, and this one is completely unique to me. I know of no one else who does this, and you're going to love it. The L stands for life-changing retreats. These are life-changing. Now, what is a life-changing retreat? This is something I invented. I created it. Let me go backward and tell you the story of how this came about. Well, I am a person who goes on retreat a few times a year. I just go off by myself. Sometimes I get a cabin in the woods. Sometimes I get a hotel somewhere. Sometimes I go to actual retreat centers where there's yoga classes. Whatever strikes my fancy at the time, but I get away from the everyday routine and just take a time out, which we all need. We all need timeouts. Now, here in the snippets, I advise all of you snippet lovers to have a sacred space. That's something that if you're new around here, you may not have heard of. You'll hear about a sacred space. In short, it is a place where you go to do your self-care, and it's a space in your home that you set aside. Essentially, when you go to your sacred space, even for 5 minutes a day, you are taking a time out, a tiny mini retreat, right? Well, it occurred to me that no, I can't send my clients off on 4 or 5 day retreats. Not yet anyway, but I'm working on it. And I've already got them doing, and all of you, if you're doing it, if you're participating, I've got you doing tiny mini retreats by going to your sacred space every day. So it occurred to me, well, is there something in between 4, 5, 6 days and 5 minutes? Yes, there is. And I added these to my program, my Perspectives Experience. And I recommend whatever sobriety path you choose, you find one that has something equivalent to this. Although honestly, good luck, right? Or if you have to, I guess, create your own. Or you join me and I do it for you. So what are these life-changing retreats? When you come into my program, you do the first one within the first 2 weeks. This is a 3-hour retreat. 3 hours, that's it. So I'm not asking you, nobody's asking you to quit your job and take a week off. 3 hours, but it's very important that you set aside that time. You let everybody know, I'm gone, I'm not available for those 3 hours. And unless you absolutely can't, I recommend and ask that you get out of your house. So you can go to a park, you can go to a coffee shop, you go somewhere, you get away. And when you're in my program, those 3 hours are filled up by me. I send you what you're supposed to do during those 3 hours, and I refuse to share that publicly because that is a surprise for my clients. They don't know what they're going to do until the day they arrive. They set the date, and on arrival at their location, they hear from me, and together we do those 3 hours. I walk them through their time out, their retreat. So I'm not going to share that part of it, but what they've essentially done is agreed to take a time out from their life just for themselves. Now, the second retreat, because it's plural, life-changing retreats, in the 8th week of my program, which is the last week of the program, we do the second retreat, and this one is 6 hours. So basically a whole day, right? The better part of a day. The gals who join me set aside that day. They know the day in advance. I know the day in advance. And again, when they arrive at their destination, which they choose, I arrive there with them, not in person, but virtually, and I lead them through that 6 hours. And again, I am not telling you, it's a secret. There's no way I'm going to spill the beans on this because, as I said, even the gals don't know what to expect until the day they arrive. So what happens in my program is you start with a 3-hour retreat. You end with a 6-hour retreat, and these are designed, carefully crafted, so that you are coming into the program, getting what you need to get going, and ending your program with a bang, so to speak, right? And imagine in week 1 and week 8, you are 2 different people. You are 2 different people. A lot has happened in those 8 weeks. First of all, you haven't had a drink in 8 weeks. So imagine how different you're feeling. But a lot more has happened. You've been having your authentic accountability. You've learned how to employ that holistic alcohol-free mindset. You have been with a group of women and built relationships. You're not the same person. Without being able to tell you the details of what goes on in those retreats, I want to recommend to any of you out there who decide to go on your sober living journey and start your path, look for something like this. I don't think you're going to find it, to be honest, but you could, I suppose, create your own, get away, take your journal and create some strategy for yourself during those 3 hours or 6 hours, or if you want to go on a several-day retreat, you could do that. But I personally think it's a lot better to be guided. There's risk involved in going away on our own in early sobriety. I don't know about you, but what I wanted to do when I was alone was drink. Yeah. Give me some time alone and I'll hit the liquor store on the way and I'm happy as a clam. That was my favorite thing to do, was drink alone. So it's a risky behavior for us to do on our own in early sobriety. So be very careful, gals. So there you have it. Healed journey to sober living. The H is holistic alcohol-free mindset. The E is emotional healing and energy work. The A is authentic accountability. And the L is life-changing retreats. In the last couple of weeks, I've walked you through all 4 of those. On your path to sober living, I really recommend you have these written down and look for these or something equivalent in the program that you're choosing. Because there's one thing we know for sure: we need help. So if you're thinking to yourself, well, I'll put together my own program and I'll include these 4 things. Well, I don't see how are you going to be authentically accountable to nobody? It's not going to work, gals. How are you going to learn holistic alcohol-free mindset? How are you going to have that authentic accountability? How are you going to learn about emotional healing? It can't be done. So to have real, true, lasting, happy, joyous sobriety, you need help. And you're getting this direct from the world's foremost sobriety coach for 40 plus women. And I say that with an open heart and 100% confidence. It is not an ego trip, my dears. I'm going to tell you right now, it's a fact. I will give this caveat though. Nobody joins my program without first meeting with me. And not every woman I speak to is invited to join my perspectives experience. That's another fact. Now, it's not because there's something wrong with them. They're just not in the right place. They're not ready. And I cannot help you if you're not ready to help yourself. So I'm not telling you all of this so you'll come and give me your money, because there have been women with their credit cards out that I'm not willing to invite into my program. You join the perspectives experience through invitation. And the way to get that invitation, my dears, is very, very simple. You click the link and you book a call with me, and together we figure out what you need, what's best for you. Now, that might sound scary, but I'm telling you that women in snippet land, we are here. We don't do fluff in snippet land. We deserve the best for our lives. You, my dear, deserve the best. And that's why you're listening to the snippets, you're hearing my voice, because you recognize quality when you see it. Now listen, if I just scared the hell out of you, you're thinking, oh my God, what happens if I get on a call with Becca and she won't let me join? Then let me tell you what I look for in clients. It's not complicated, and it's not a long list of things. It's very simple, my dear. All you have to be is ready and willing. That's it. Are you surprised? Don't be scared. If you feel ready to quit drinking, if you've had enough, then you'll be welcome into my program. Let's be honest. How many times have you told yourself, I'll cut back, only to find yourself pouring yet another glass? How many times have you woken up with regret, promising yourself it was the last time? The truth is, nothing changes until you decide it's time. So if this has hit home and you're feeling stuck in this cycle, it's time we spoke. So as I mentioned, I offer free one-on-one calls where you share your story, and together we'll figure out whether or not my perspectives experience is for you. We'll find out if you're finally ready to break free. And because I know this takes courage, I offer a $200 restaurant gift card to every woman who shows up at her call. You'll soon be enjoying a night out, completely in control, fully present, without regret, on me. Of course, I have a limited number of calls I can take in a month and a limited number of gift cards. So open up whatever app you're streaming this podcast on, go to the show notes of this episode, and click the first link that says book your call with Becca. That'll take you to my personal calendar where you can pick a time that works before they're all gone. This will be the decision that changes everything. Gals, It's really simple. If you're ready and willing, then I can help you. Thank you for joining me. Thanks for popping in. Be sure to come back tomorrow so we can keep your head on straight. Sending you buckets of love.